Hey guys, just like you, Nick and I just finished watching the Nintendo Direct for Smash Brothers.
Smash Brothers Edition.
It was actually really cool.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting to come in today and be like sitting at my desk yelling about Nintendo stuff, but I know you love Smash Brothers.
I
and
love
like,
it, yeah.
I was literally just playing Brawl this week and being like, man, this is my favorite Nintendo thing.
Yeah.
So it was cool to get that huge info dump all at once. And if you haven't seen it, you should probably go watch it yourself if you're like a big Smash Brothers fan. But what we're going to do is talk about the stuff that excited us, the stuff that got us standing up and screaming and being total Nintendo fanboys, as we are wont to do occasionally.
Yes. The first thing is the release date.
Yeah.
They're staggering both versions of the 3DS and the Wii U.
Yeah, the 3DS one is summer of
Yes.
2014, and then the Wii U one is this winter, is what they're saying, which is a pretty clever idea. I was actually talking to a friend about it, and they pointed out that like this is the easiest way to get people to buy Smash Brothers twice, right? If they were put up at the same time, you're in your head, you're going to pick your version.
Yeah.
This way, people will buy it on 3DS, and then 6 months later buy the attractive-looking Wii U version with all different stages.
And the clever wording of winter allows Nintendo to miss the holiday window.
Yeah, I bet you, so it's totally possible that they could do that if they have to, because it's going to be a pretty huge game. I also bet you they really don't want to, because this thing could sell me a Wii U at Christmas time, and I think a lot of people feel the same way.
Right.
Yeah, hopefully they don't have to miss it, but you're right. It gives them some wiggle room.
Yeah, another thing that was interesting that they showed off is they showed off all the stages and kind of actually said, hey, they're going to be different for
funny.
both games.
At first, the way they phrased it like months ago was that there'd be exclusive stages in each version, and now they're saying that they are, for the most part, like completely exclusive, as in the 3DS version has its own set, the Wii U has its own set, and there are a few crossover stages, the traditional ones, Battlefield and Final Destination and stuff, but for the most part, they're unique, and you actually pointed out something I
pointed out to Nick, like, so Super Mario 3D Land, it's the 3DS version, and all of the 3DS stages are the 3DS versions of those games or 3DS exclusive games. And so the Wii U levels are pretty much exclusive to console games.
Wii and Wii U.
Yeah.
That divide is almost true across the board. Like the Rainbow Road level that's 3DS exclusive, I noticed was the Mario Kart 7 version of Rainbow Road with the moon and stuff.
Yeah.
It's a pretty clever way to split that in half and a pretty clever way to make you buy the game 2 times.
And you and I both got really excited when we found out that Find Me
that stupid little RPG, the Street Pass game that's built into every 3DS, is its own stage in Smash Brothers now, which is awesome. 3D Land, I think, as a stage, is more exciting as an idea than in concept, because it looks like it's one of those scrolling levels, which I've never loved in Smash Brothers, but I love 3D Land as a game, so whatever, I'll miss it.
What I loved on the Wii U side is that they finally made a Pilot Wings level. Yeah. Which, for me, it's like, come on, guys, do some Pilot Wings already, please. I love that game. They finally
if you look closely, it looks like you're flying around the Wahoo Island or whatever
from Wii U Sports.
Yeah, and Mi Fit or Wii Fit and all that.
Also, there was the Mario Galaxy level.
Yeah, God.
Which the first thing I said, and as the words were coming out of my mouth, I was like, that'll never happen, was I was hoping that there would be gravity on the levels where, like, if you didn't care, you could just jump your character all the way off the level and then come back onto the other side.
Maybe they'll do something like it. Maybe there'll be like a small planet that floats in for a second that has its own gravity.
But I do think that level will have gravity effects. Yeah. I'm just assuming, I'm throwing out assumptions that, like, there will be, if you get blown off too high, you will not be able to return because
part of what I love about Smash Brothers is the amount of detail they put into stuff like stages. Like I was playing Brawl this weekend, and we played the Animal Crossing level, and I forgot that KK Slider shows up in that level on Saturday nights at 8 p.m. just like in the game. They will dump endless detail and resources into the like smallest things. So hopefully you're right. I would love to see them do that.
Also, the Mega Man level brought back the Yellow Devil.
Yeah, which I have never heard of.
Yellow Devil was this boss you would have to fight inside Wily's castle, and he would shape-shift from side to side, and I love that. That he's shape-shifting and causing damage to the fighters.
The idea in general of bosses on stages is pretty crazy. They kind of winked and nudged that Ridley's going to be a boss in one of the Metroid levels. It's a pretty cool idea, and I hope they find a way to execute it that doesn't feel totally distracting, because it's a clever take on the fact that this game seems like it's going to have a somewhat smaller single-player component than most. Actually, let's talk about that. They announced the 3DS exclusive mode Smash Run, which, if you notice, and I said this before Sakurai said it, it's a structural duplicate of the City Trial mode in Kirby Air Ride, the most underrated GameCube game of all time. Don't talk shit about Kirby Air Ride. It's so good.
I'm not.
Anyways, that seems like a pretty neat sort of take on that. And even though it's no Subspace Emissary in terms of scope, you need something to do in that game when you're on the train or on the bus and your friends aren't necessarily around for multiplayer.
Exactly.
And it seems like a good answer to that question.
I also like that it was all the old enemies from all the old Nintendo games. For someone like me who's like, hey, cool, it's all the old guys.
Yeah, the eggplant people from it's a cool it's a very Smash Brothers solution to that problem.
Right. Now let's kind of like shift gears and go into the items
that
are in the game. Steel diver gun.
Yeah,
I love it. I love that they just get so ridiculous
it's so
with
dumb.
Nintendo stuff.
You could lock me in a room for 100,000 years and have me guess at items that they would put in Smash Brothers 4, and I would never have guessed a gun based on the Steel Diver tech demo that turned into a game for the original DS. Like that's never in a trillion years. I think that
you're absolutely right. There's no way that you could lock anyone in a room and be like, come up with a steel diver weapon.
Yeah.
It's a gun that looks like a submarine.
That's it. And that's so... Yeah. It just distills what I love about Smash Brothers, which is it's the weirdest, it's almost like they're having a contest to see who can make the most obscure Nintendo reference with themselves. Like, there's stuff that goes over our heads, and we care about Nintendo, like, a lot. And then that makes it so much more satisfying when there's an obscure reference that you do get, like the wireframe Little Mac skin that they showed off.
Oh, that was the best. That was the best. I have wanted, when they announced Little Mac originally, I said they better have a wireframe skin.
That behind the back arcade
behind the back, old school punch out arcade game. Left, body blow.
Another thing that I had to Google was the Color TV game 15.
Yeah, I told you about that.
Trophy. It's like
it's Pong,
right?
When everyone was making Pong clones, and Nintendo made one in the 70s.
Right, back in the 70s. Oh, a little annoyed that Waluigi is being relegated to an assist trophy, but that's just me being a weird Waluigi obsessive.
Well, I mean, if you want to get obsessive with people and characters that have been left out of Smash, I still want Wart from Super Mario Brothers 2. And come on, guys, give us
the frog dude.
Yeah, the frog dude. He was the main enemy in Super Mario Brothers 2. You know, Nintendo latched onto Birdo in that game and then left everyone behind.
I guess, yeah.
I also and the Shy Guys too. And I also some Star Tropics. Give me some Star Tropics.
I mean, what's crazy is that there's no idea you can say for a Smash Bros. Game that is too obscure or too weird for them to pull from. I love that Greninja also is a character now.
Yeah.
It seems like the easy thing to do would be to go to the well of super popular Final Evolution or starter Pokemon, and instead they pulled like a super weird deep cut from the new games who totally deserves to be a character.
Right. Well, I mean, they've always done that. In the first Smash Brothers, they had Jigglypuff, who was, for the original 151 Pokemon, if you count Mewtwo, was kind of a deep cut for Pokemon.
A little bit, yeah.
I mean,
not someone you would pick if you had to name 10 Pokemon who should be in Smash Brothers.
No, Jigglypuff was way down on the list, and they've done that for years, and I think it's cool. And I guess with Charizard now we can officially say that Pokemon Trainer has been eaten by Charizard.
He's been killed, yeah. I mean, I guess if you're going to either pull Charizard, Ivysaur, or Squirtle as a character, I guess you pick Charizard, but it's a little sad. Overall, though, I think like there are so many smart balance changes. Breaking split characters like Sheik and Zelda into their own characters is a brilliant design. Also, something we haven't mentioned yet is the new way that the online multiplayer works, that there's basically a competitive mode and a casual mode, more or less. They're not saying that, but they are saying that. And
the best part about that is that they figured out that everyone likes to play Final Destination with no items.
Yeah.
And then they're like, oh, but, you know, just to change things up, every level in the Wii U version has a Final Destination mode, so you guys can play that.
Super clever. I mean, it's funny because I feel like in the past the Smash Brothers developers have been borderline antagonistic towards the pro players. Looking at Brawl, they added that tripping mechanic where 1 in every 100 times you sprint, your character just falls down, which felt like a giant middle finger, I think, to a lot of pro players. And this feels like they're finally embracing that audience and realizing that people should be allowed to play Smash however they want to, even if I think that items should be set to very high at all times. But that's just me.
Well, I had a lot of fun watching this. If you guys want to talk about what you liked most about the Nintendo Direct, leave your comment down below. I really want to hear it because there's so much to talk about.
When it's a 40-minute presentation, we obviously missed some stuff, so point it out. We'll be hanging out in the comments and talking to you about it. So yeah, Smash Brothers.
Yeah, let's do it.
What?
No.
Let's do it.